What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. Today is Tuesday and I'm still buzzing from Sunday. The video's just gone out actually. I'll put it out on Monday to the patrons. And it's just gone live, when was it? Like late last night or something. I got up this morning and there's loads of comments. People really liked hearing this run. That said, it did take a bit of a toll. Let me show you. Right, so on Sunday we just got on with it. However, getting on with it did not include clearing up. So all these boxes down here is basically what the ZZR came in. And as you can see, they are starting to get a little bit on the empty side. It's all like plastics and stuff like that now. But yeah, it's just literally stuff everywhere. We've got all canisters and everything else. There's some more boxes. That some more of the ZZR was coming in. I've actually got 3 empty ones now. That one, and that one over there. That one is pretty much empty. It's just got a tail light in it, and this is all like plastics and, you know, air boxes and stuff like that. But then as we go around the workshop, you will see there is stuff just everywhere. All these boxes is like, you know, it's just little fixings and nuts and bolts and stuff like that. Got all the proper coolant there. We've got oil. In that lot, there's air filters and, you know, stuff like that still needs to go on. Obligatory coffee mugs and stuff, fuel cans, lights, various tools, the manual, multimeters, screwdrivers, sockets. The inside of that is filthy. It does need changing and whatnot. There is just stuff everywhere. I've just been chucking it back on top of the bins and stuff like that. Right, so the tank, the lock is completely knackered. So we end up just driving a screwdriver through it and smashing it basically. So we've took all the back of it off, but if you look in there, I mean, it is crusty as hell. Like properly crusty as hell. We did think at one point we were going to need to put the tank onto the bike because it's got a fuel sender in it. So yeah, level sensor. And we were thinking part of the problems we were having with the fuel pump not firing is that it wasn't connected to this. Turns out that's rubbish, it's not that clever. But again, it's that, you know, all this needs stripping out, all the rust needs to be gotten rid of. I need to get the tap, I'm imagining there's a filter in there as well, and the fuel sender out, clean all that lot and make sure it's working. Before it ever goes back on the bike or gets painted or anything else. I've got another fuel filler cap coming. That's on its way. So a little bit of work to do there, but the beastie fired up. Lots of stuff flew out of that bit. There was like leaves, cardboard, dead spiders, all sorts of stuff when we cranked it over. But the bugger runs. Right, it did fire up. It did sound and run, you know, really, really well, actually. There was no banging, knocking, clunking or anything like that. I was well chuffed. However, there are a couple of issues that we need to sort out. So I want to get this side of things finished before I even start looking at brakes and tanks and all that sort of stuff. First thing to sort out is we do have an air leak. So between the carb and the engine, there's 4 boots down here. And somewhere we've got an air leak down there. Easy way to check is if you just get like brake cleaner or carb cleaner or something like that and give each of the boots a bit of a squirt. If one's leaking, you'll find that the revs pick up after you squirted it. And that's what was happening, I think on 2, mostly on this side. I don't know, but we're gonna have it all apart and, you know, just see if we can find out where the problem is basically. There is O-rings behind there, they might need swapping out. I might even do the instant gasket thing around the O-rings and just glue the buggers in, because that way I know it's not going to leak. And we should be fine doing that. So the carbs have to come off, just so, you know, not fully disconnected or anything, but we'll just pull them off and lay them down. Whilst they're off, I'm also going to get the throttle cables installed, just so I can route them and we can have it off the throttle. Same thing with the choke cable. But if I can fix that air leak, then we can balance the carbs and hopefully help it run a little bit easier. Once all that's done, I know it's lean. I know it's lean. So we are looking at having to rejet it and whatnot. We're not going to do that until it goes to a dyno. And you know, we'll get an AFR curve and we'll figure it out from there, change some jets and just take it back and, you know, see what's what. I think it's like, I don't know, 30 quid or something for a dyno run. Just, you know, and get all the data off of it. So that's not too bad, but then all this lot can just get buttoned up. We stick the airbox on. The whole thing is desperate need of a clean. You know, you just degrease everything, power wash everything, blow it all off with the airline, maintenance spray it all, and then I want to put it through some heat cycles. Before I get to any of that, I need to tidy up. I can't find half my tools. They're in here somewhere, I just don't know where they are. Right then. It's not massively tidy, but it's tidier. Don't want to move that. Yeah, it's just in the way, isn't it? Right, so that's the boots all sealed up. There is no cracks or anything on any of them. Yeah, I think it's just where they're sealing to the face. So I haven't got the O-rings exactly the right size, but those O-rings do look okay, if not a little bit squished, because they've been on there before. Are you not that size? Are you not? I thought you was. So I have put some goo on, basically just to help them seal. People are going to go, what are you putting goo on it for? Don't do that. Well, I've done it before and it's fine. But it's just basically to help them seal up. All the inside has been wiped down, been acetoned and all that. It's clean as a whistle down there, it really is. So I can't see any issues there. So that's just going to get left up to set. In the meanwhile, if I get these throttle cables in, then we're sort of halfway there. What's the time? 11:30. I do need to chip off at 12:30 because obviously I've got my work. But it'll probably just mean coming back tomorrow, sticking everything back together again with the airbox, and we'll see where we go from there. Alright, how does this go then? Right, cables is all hooked up to the carb, so now we've just got to sort this bit here out, which should be easy enough. He goes in there. Right, so that's that bit done. Throttle cables is on and all hooked up. Getting the pull one on's a right pain. Is it pull one or push one? Push one, because he's buried around the back. So they're all on. The choke cable is on as well. That's all connected. I haven't adjusted anything yet. I will do that, obviously, before I fire it up. All the carbs is back on, so I'm hoping that has now cured that air leak that we had. Just noticed we're down on oil a bit as well. Obviously, where we've run it, it's pumped itself around and blah-de-blah-de-blah. And it's all filled up the orifices that was previously empty. So I do need to top it up again before I fire it up. So yeah, it's really just a case of adjusting cables and away we go sort of thing, isn't it? Where's my idler? He can go back. He can go back in there, which is all good. Everything is on. Peachy, right, time is 12:30, so I need to tip off to my work, but I'll be back tomorrow. Today's Thursday. Week is flying past. Right, what have we done? Well, because we just fired it up and it's done nothing in 21 years, as I've said. Plus we've been in there monkeying about with stuff and all that sort of thing. Plus that we've run it up and blah-de-blah-de-blah. We just wanted to give the coolant system and the engine a bloody good flush through. So it's already gone through like a couple of heat cycles. So I've dumped all the oil and replaced that, and I've dumped all the coolant and I've replaced that as well. You know, the oil was coming out absolutely fine, but I'll just reuse that when I'm machining stuff and what have you. There's loads of nasty came out of the radiator and whatnot. But you know, it's good, isn't it? So, where are we now? I've got to tighten up the cables, I've got to adjust all the cables for the clutch and the throttles and blah, 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 blah. And then, pretty much, we're ready to sync the carbs. So that's what I'm doing today. Right. Alright, so doors is all open. I just stuck a bit more fuel in it. I just want to warm it up and get it up to temperature, and then we can get the carb sync on. You know, me gauges and whatnot, and we can have a go at syncing it. All the caps is there, which is fine. I just want to see if this, see if the air leak's sorted. Now that we've glued it all in place. Right, do that. Bit of choke. We are out of gear, aren't we? Yes. He's all nipped up. Awesome! I just don't want anything rubber sitting on anything hot, basically. Right, so carb balancing. These are basically just vacuum gauges. So on the boot that joins the carbs to the engine, there's a little cap. Where is it? You get these little caps, yeah? And they basically just sit over, it looks a bit like a bleed nipple, but bigger and longer and a little bit skinnier as well. But basically you just hook these hoses up to it. So the left-hand clock is on this cylinder, so on and so forth. Or carb rather. Basically they're just vacuum gauges, so working off pressure. So I'm not going to explain how carbs and all that stuff works. That's not what I'm about. It's not what I do, and I would do it terribly if I tried. I will point you to a couple of videos from Andy's motorcycle obsession. So there's going to be like a thing appear up here. But he explained the way a carb works really, really, really well. And then when he was doing basket case, and then he went and synced them and all that sort of stuff as well. But these are CV carbs. So there is a diaphragm up the top here, which is all sealed off and whatnot. And there is, the diaphragm is linked to the needles, to the slides. You probably, if you flip back and have a look through the videos and we pulled all this apart, you will see this slide. It's all part and parcel. It's got like this rubber skirt on top. That's the diaphragm. So basically it's the difference in pressure. When you twist the throttle, you open the butterflies and there's a difference in pressure between the top of the diaphragm and the air rushing through the venturi here, and that's basically what causes the needles to rise. Twisting this is not mechanically connected to the needles. So what we want to do is to make sure that these are all balanced, which basically means that the linkages are all set so they all open and close at the same rate and at the same time. That is the worst explanation ever, but that's what you basically do. So the idea is that we fire it up. There's some little valves on here as well, so you can adjust the flow into the, you know, from the hoses and whatnot. And you want to get all the needles so they're just, you know, barely moving when it's ticking over. You don't want them flopping about all over the place, and you don't want them dead still. And they will each have a reading. And the idea is that we're going to adjust the linkages down here. Such that they all read the same and they all go up and down at the same time. Essentially, one of the carbs is the master carb, so that's the one that the throttle cables is connected to. And there's like C links like this with springs and screws between them, and you can wind these in and out. That's what you're adjusting. So you're adjusting the linkage between each of the carbs. essentially. But you have to, the master carburetor, if you like, that's your reference one. And then the ones either side of it, you have to sync to that. And then the final one, you have to sync to the one next to that as well. So there's a bit of joking about, but a little bit of perseverance. You do get there in the end. So let's see we are as far, these are all open, aren't they? Right, let's fire it up and get them sorted. I was so focused on trying to get everything adjusted right, and it was running horrible. I hadn't noticed that this had run out. Yeah, bubbling away, filling the float bowls. Right, let's give it another go. Right then, it's better than it was. It's still not there, and I've got a few issues basically. Where do I start? Okay, there is an awful lot of to-ing and fro-ing when you're doing this. What you find is you've got the master carb, which is the one with the cables on, and then essentially you're setting the two carbs either side of that. So, you know, just, I mean, I picked the other one in the middle, and you try and bring that in line so they're both reading the same on the gauges and everything else. And then you do the one the other side of the carb and bring that in. But as you're bringing that one in, then these two start wandering, which is really annoying. But the idea is once you've got all those three sorted, then you bring the fourth one into play as well. And it does sometimes creep, because obviously, you know, the balance is being changed by changing the fuel in. Well, changing the sync basically. So they do sort of wander in and out, and as you're getting close and then make an adjustment on a different one, a different carb starts wandering off, which is annoying. But I'm confident I haven't got any air leaks, that's fine. However, I've got two problems. One is, I'm starting to think these gauges aren't reading exactly the same as one another, which they should be, but I haven't proved it. So I'm gonna, it's nearly time for me to nip off now anyway, but I'm gonna nip down Halfords and get some more vacuum line and T-pieces. I'm gonna put all those caps back on here, apart from one, and I'm gonna join all these hoses together and take a feed off one vacuum. Doing that, all the gauges should read exactly the same because they're all being fed by the same vacuum. That's my line of thinking anyway. If they're different, then the gauges is off, but I need to know by how much, so I can see if I'm getting them balanced or not. The other thing is we've got these little bleed valves on the bottom of the gauges. Essentially, it's like a needle valve, like you get on the air fuel mixture. It's just like a pointy screw basically that goes through an O-ring. But they're really finicky. So you wind them in so the needle is just fluttering. You know, it's not bouncing about all over the place, it's literally just wobbling, just a little bit. Make your adjustments, start tweaking, and then you look up and it's not fluttering anymore, it's solid. So then you have to back it off a little bit. And even if you just get hold of the adjuster and pull it against the screw, don't turn it, the thing starts fluttering. So it's creeping in on those O-rings, which is not the best. So I'm gonna go and get some hoses. I'm gonna link them all and check the gauges is reading the same, and see if that helps, and you know, I can get it where it needs to be. Jamie's also got a set of vacuum gauges as well. It would be nice just to try a different set. I don't know if it's the same sort of thing. What I would love to do is to run out and buy some of their mercury gauges. I can't remember what they're called, but it's columns of mercury. Either that or a digital one would be nice, but the mercury ones are really nice because they're quite responsive. You don't get all the fluttering, and it's just, you know, They really are good and dead accurate as well. Trouble is, they cost like 180 quid for a full set. So I ain't going to be doing that. I'm going to have to persevere with this. So, I'll be back. Right, today is Friday, I'm day off, so I'm in here having a go at stuff again, and everything I'm trying to do is just going wrong. Everything is going wrong. So Jack said he was going to be down today to switch the tyres over for me. It is now, I don't know, lunchtime-ish, something like that. He's not showed up, so he probably went out last night, got bladdered, and he's sleeping it off. But that said, I've got 3 of the wheels out. But then this is where stuff starts going wrong as well, because I've only got 2 paddock stands. The rear one has bobbins. None of these have bobbins, so I can't use that on here. So it's a combination of jacks and axle stands and God knows what else, just trying to get the wheels out. I'll get those 3 out, that's not a problem. Getting the front wheel out of this one, I really need the paddock stand, and that's under that one. You can see what the trouble is now. I might have a way of doing it, I'm not entirely sure, but I phoned up a local bike shop, Crispy's. They reckon they can get them switched over by the end of the day. They are busy, but they're going to try and fit it in. I want to go down there and have a chat with them as well, because I'm going to need to get this booked in for an MOT, and they've also got a dyno. So I want to stick this on the dyno and see what we can make out of it, basically. We know we're going to need an AFR curve to get all the jetting right, but they should be able to sort us out then. So as long as they're up for doing that in about 3 weeks' time, because I reckon that's how long it's going to take, then, you know, we should be good. The only other bit that could hinder that is obviously bodywork, because at the minute it's horrible and Jack's doing that. So you better wake up and get in. Anyway, to get the wheels off, you need a 12mm Allen key. I didn't have one, so I had to go and get one. Whilst I've been waiting as well, I've just stripped down the new brakes that we've got. Say new, they're not new, they are old. But these are Jigsaw calipers. 4-pot stoppies, you know, just to Kiko's, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Apparently it's quite the common upgrade on these as well. These came off a working running bike. They were serviced not that long ago. They just need a bloody good clean, basically. So I've had the pads and pins and springs and stuff out. I'm leaving the pistons in, which is pushed all the way back, and they're all free moving. So these are just going to go in the ultrasonic and cook for a bit, whilst I get these wheels down to Crispy's and see what I can do about that other front wheel. So that's the plan. Best laid plans and all that. It always goes wrong with me. Right, you can go in there. Right then, time is getting on, but at least I've got 2 bikes with 4 wheels on, and the tyres is on the bike that I want the tyres to be on. Did notice something, the hugger is running really close to that back tyre, like really close. So I'm not sure if I can just space it up a bit, or I don't know, maybe it's sort of squished down as it's been put on, but I need to have that off and just have a check, see and have a look. So brakes has all been cooking, we'll have a look at them in a minute. Well actually, let's have a look now. Well, they'll come up all right. They're not too shabby at all, really. Bolts is a bit there. Right, let's mind your ears. Well, they're not so bad. I could do with a squirt of something black. I've got new springs to go in them, I've got new pads to go in them. Don't like that these bolts here is rusted. That's a bit poo. But I don't really want to split them, because otherwise that means getting a service kit, and this is going to delay things even more. So I'm going to have a think about this. I think what I might end up doing is masking stuff off in here where the cylinders are, the pistons are. I really want to get some different bolts though. For now, what I might do is just mask it off, bung up the holes that need bunging up, give it a squirt of something black, and then at a later point when I get some replacement bolts, I'll get a complete service kit and everything else, and we'll do the job properly. But for now, I just want to get it respectable. I want it out on the road, and these work quite happily. They just look a bit, I don't know. Should I just leave them as, I can't, because I can't bring myself to do it. Right, okay, where's the rear? Right, it's been a bit of an odds and sods one, this one, actually. Because I've had all good intentions of getting carbs balanced and airbox on and wash everything. And then I've, we'll have the kibosh put on it just because of people's availability and all that sort of stuff, and like issues with gauges and stuff. I know it happens. I don't mean to say you have to like it. So anyway, we've just kind of got on with stuff that all needs doing. But annoyingly, I've not finished any of the jobs that I started. But I have got a bit further down. So, both bikes have got 2 wheels on with the right tyres on, so that's all good. The hugger I am going to need to, so I think it's just been put together, and as it's been tightened up, it's, the holes is bigger than the bolts is going through it, and I think the whole thing is just splayed out. So I might get a heat gun on that just to help supple it up, pull it all back in again and then do it up, so that should be an easy fix. The tank is currently going through a citric acid bath. So big container that I can't fit the whole tank in because the tank is huge. And it's just a mixture of citric acid crystals and water. There's a little aquarium pump in there with the output tube going into the filler neck of the tank, just to help keep everything sort of moving, if you like. And there's also a little aquarium heater in there set to 18 degrees. I'm not putting any warmer because if I do, the plastic box gets a bit soft and it all starts bulging like that, and I'm convinced one of these days it's just going to go. That's why it's got 2 bits of wood clamped either side of it. So anyway, I'll put a picture up as to why it's in there. I'm not sure if it's rust or if it's varnish or anything, but it's goo and bits of it come off, and none of that is going through my nicely newly built carbs, because that will proper bung the works up. So it all needs cleaning out. So we're going to give it a flush through like this for a couple of days. I'm back in again tomorrow, so we'll turn it over and we'll have another go. We'll pressure wash it, we'll see what it looks like. I don't know if it's going to need a tank liner. Done them before, they work really good, but I want to see what the metal comes up like, basically. So as far as the bike goes, I have been speaking with Jamie. He has got a set of vacuum gauges that he loaned to his mate, but he's hoping to grab them and drop them around at the weekend. So I'm hoping he's going to make an appearance tomorrow, because I want to compare these gauges to another set of gauges. I am really tempted to go out and get a set of those Morgan carb tune ones, like tubes with mercury in, basically, because they're really good. I've had a go with one, and you can get it spot on. They're just a bit, it's a cheapy set. I know it's a cheapy set, and that's why it's hard to use, and it flutters about all over the place, and you can't adjust it right. But I'm not happy with them, basically. I have got all my vacuum tubes and stuff here, so I'm going to join them all together and just see if they read correctly, or you know, the same, should I say. But I am seriously tempted to get a set of Morgans, just because, you know, I've had to use these a few times, and every time I've cussed and swore about them, and everybody raves about the Morgan ones, so why wouldn't I get them? So that's that. What else have I done? Oh yeah, brakes. I'm undecided about these. We're going to come back to these. I've fished the rear one out, which is looking cleaner. I just don't want to leave it in that solution all night. But he definitely needs a complete strip down, rebuild and paint. And if I'm doing it, I might as well do them as well. But they do work at the minute, so they might go on as they are, and then I'll organise a kit for them, a service kit, and I'll get some replacement bolts here as well. We'll have a little look apart and service them properly. That is probably what I'm going to do. So for now, this one is getting it. Those two will follow, I think. The sender unit actually looks quite good out the tank. I do, it's not nasty. I do need to test it. We'll just dunk it in water or something like that. But it's actually quite clean and tidy, so I think we're going to be okay there. It's going to need another O-ring in it, I know that. But, that's an easy one, isn't it? I just need to check it and make sure it works. So anyway, that's what I've been up to this week. I am back in again tomorrow, like I say, so we will be cracking on with this. I'll show you what I do. And then on Sunday and Monday, I'm not in here because me and Steve-O is on a road trip. We're on our way off up to Norfolk. I'm not telling you why, you'll have to have a look-see, but it is going to be really cool. It is going to be a long drive from Plymouth to Norfolk, and I'm not coming back in the same day. So we're stopping over at his folks Sunday night, and we'll come back on Monday. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that one. But anyway, that's where I'm leaving it for this one. Do hope you're all well and staying safe. We'll see you on the next one. Laters!